Community College and majored in criminal justice, and was hired by Maricopa County Sheriff's Department. I worked there for 2 years and decided I wanted to return home and work in my community where I grew up in. I was hired at Quartzsite and worked there for a number of years. And after 12 years, I went to the Colorado Indian Tribes and worked there for 4.5 years. During my stint there, I rose to the rank of chief, remained there for 2.5 years as a chief, and the position of chief came open at Quartzsite. At that time, I applied and was selected as chief and have been there for the last 4 years. I believe that my 6 years as chief of police and my over 20 years of law enforcement have prepared me for the position of sheriff. This is why I'm currently running for this position. Based on my prior experience and service, I believe that I am the candidate that should be selected. In 2017, I had the opportunity to attend the FBI National Academy. I graduated with honors, obtaining my yellow brick, and in 2019, I received my FBI Trilogy Leadership Award for training and excellence. These are the reasons why I believe I'm qualified. But I also like to state that I see a lot of issues in the current Sheriff's Department with the leadership. The leadership is not providing the services to the people and the communities they serve. And that's an issue for me. It's a systemic problem in the organization. And I believe I can change those issues. And we can work together to create a better Sheriff's Department and a better organization for our people that we serve. As my current position as Chief of Police with the town of Quartzsite, I do all those same things. I provide excellent service. I'm dedicated to the people. And you can see that. You can ask anybody that is in that community how they feel about our police department. We have an excellent police department. We provide great service to the people, and we're dedicated to the community. And I will continue that type of service when I become the Sheriff of La Paz County. So I ask you folks to ask yourselves, do you want to continue with the same regime that is in there now and the lack of service that you guys are receiving? So please think on that, ponder on that. If you want to continue in the same fashion, then you can elect the individual that's already in there. But if you would like to have stronger leadership, better structure, professional officers that are dedicated to duty and service, then elect me for your next sheriff. My name is William Ponce, and thank you for your time.
I'm going to be reading from notes. We got 15 minutes, is that correct? I got a lot to say in a short time to get there.
Hold the mic up a little closer.
All right, is that better?
Yeah, straight out.
Like this? 15 years ago, I moved to La Paz County, and I was stunned by what people were putting up with here. And when I decided to say something about it, I was immediately targeted, harassed, arrested, dragged through the court system here. And I'm the only candidate running that has been arrested more than anyone in this county with no convictions. People say I don't know the law or law enforcement. Let me say, if that was true, why do I beat them all the time where it matters most, in a court of law? We have a lot of problems here in La Paz County. Drug abuse and theft are big problems. The bigger problem is government run amok. And if you try to talk about these problems to our elected leaders, they sometimes ignore you and treat you like garbage unless you're friends of theirs. And I will change that. Who am I and how can I help you? I am an entrepreneur. I am a problem solver. I am a patriot. I am a leader. And I believe in the Founding Fathers' documents and their intent. I have started, built, and even sold businesses. Right now I'm in the gemstone trade. I buy, sell, trade, anything mineral related. And I'm also into mining minerals. My wife digs through my rock pile and makes beautiful jewelry out of stuff that people wouldn't even give a second look at in its raw form. Both of us are able to see beauty where others don't. I believe La Paz County has a beautiful future ahead of itself if we just dump the good old boy club and do the right things. I'm a registered independent. You will not see me on the ballot this August. You will vote for me in November. My platform is all about following the Constitution, as it is the highest law in the land. And if anybody would like a free pocket Constitution, I have some back there. They're absolutely free. I think people need a refresher course. My department will not follow or enforce unconstitutional laws. This will free up the sheriff's office and the courts to focus on real crimes with real victims. Some people said Donald Trump couldn't win because he had no experience in politics. He wasn't familiar with how things were done, and they attacked his style. I believe the professional know-it-alls with all the certifications and titles are doing it wrong, and the proof is all around us. Some people say I don't have any experience to be a sheriff. Nothing could be further from the truth, because as an outsider, I have held bad law enforcement officers' feet to the fire for over 15 years as an outsider. Also, La Paz County keeps electing certified law enforcement every 4 years, and nothing improves. I think it's time for outside-the-box thinking. Elect me, someone whose goal is justice. Here's what I intend to do immediately or within the first 100 days of being on the job. First off, I will release a video every week of what's going on in your sheriff's office. I'll put it on a website for everyone to review or watch. Communication is the key, and nobody knows what's going on in these departments countywide. This will bring transparency and more trust to the government. I will also videotape all of the board of supervisor meetings and share it on the same website and make it so people can comment there too. Secondly, I will install a suggestion box outside the front door of the sheriff's office so people can contribute ideas. I will also have an online suggestion box, and I will read these suggestions on the weekly video update. Third, I will install and promote a crime tip hotline where people can leave anonymous tips about criminal activity in your neighborhood. You can leave your contact info for us to follow up with you, or you can remain anonymous if you want to. Fourth, and this is big, guns. Red flag gun laws are coming. If you guys don't know what red flag gun laws are, I suggest you research them immediately. They are a violation of your Fourth Amendment right, and just another way for government to disarm the public. Also, every 2 weeks, I will have a gunsmith available to look at your guns to make sure they are in tip-top shape, free of charge. All you gotta do is come into the sheriff's office, bring your guns, and we'll get you all set up. Also, we're gonna start a gun training program for kids and adults, and even a high school shooting team if there's interest in it. I will work with Kenny Looper, the only hunter safety instructor in the area. Right now, he's been working with Holly Irwin on a shooting range in Ehrenberg that will draw from California and Arizona. This will be a moneymaker for the county. The land is already set aside. Fencing has been donated. Farmers have agreed to help volunteer with equipment and their time. And CRIT has agreed to already donate 200 yards of concrete to build this out. There's also money available from national organizations to support this once we get it going. We'll be able to attract national shoots too. Again, this will all bring money to the county. Once elected, I'm going to make this a priority for kids and adults, both to have and enjoy, and of course the county will get some revenue, which they really need. The fifth thing I want to do immediately is deputize volunteers to help with the sheriff's office. We need more citizen involvement. The county is so spread out, it's impossible for us to be everywhere. When seconds count, cops are minutes away, and out here, it's 30 minutes or more at times. I've heard horror stories. Friends have gone through trainings in Las Vegas and Phoenix. We can look to see if it's something we can do out here, or maybe we could do something a little bit different. Number 6, and this is not within 100 days, this is immediately, my department will not enforce unconstitutional laws. An example is civil asset forfeiture. Please look that up. If you don't know what it is, it's unconstitutional, and it will end on day 1 when I'm elected. It's nothing more than legalized theft by law enforcement. The sheriff's office and QPD run interdiction on the freeway looking for money they can take without due process. It's looked upon as free money, and it's really someone's hard-earned money. Now, of course, if we find a semi-load of drugs and money, that's a different story. That's obviously cartel, and we need to stop that. But individuals with a few $1,000s will be able to freely travel through our county without fear of getting it confiscated and having to deal with the courts to get this back, and it happens every day, folks. Number 7, speaking of drugs, does anybody know about the schedulization of drugs in America? There's different levels for drugs. I think there's 5, maybe 7. I don't know how many levels. 5. So, Schedule 1 is the worst level of drugs there is. It has no medical benefit whatsoever, Schedule 1. Schedule 2 includes drugs like methamphetamine and PCP and cocaine. Schedule II drugs are a lesser crime charge than Schedule I. Do you guys know what is in Schedule I? Cannabis. Okay, people caught with a little bit of cannabis are in prison right now. I've been in jail with people. Proud to say that I've seen this happen personally. Kids with a little bit of cannabis facing a felony, and that is originally intended for drugs with no medical benefit. And I could show you 100 videos of people with stage 4 cancer told to go home and die, take care of your affairs, there's nothing we can do, they sew them up, whatever, and the only thing that saves them is cannabis oil. So, on day 1, there will be no more small felon possession cannabis charges anymore. All it does is clog up the courts, waste time, waste money. It keeps the courts busy, it keeps the attorneys busy, and it also keeps the private prison industrial complex in business. Number 8, we will no longer be patrolling the interstate. That's the state's domain. We will, of course, provide backup and respond to emergencies like always, but the majority of our officers' time will be in the neighborhoods. If people pay taxes to fund the sheriff's office, and it's only right that they spend as much time in the neighborhoods taking care of problems instead of out on the freeway revenuing. Number 9, I will help the parents of homeschool kids. Right now, there is discussion to mandate masks for kids as young as 5 years old. So naturally, there's going to be a growth in the number of parents who are going to decide to homeschool. I want to help them with suggestions on curriculum and other things. I view homeschooling as long-term positive as long as they're getting their classes in. Number 10, and again, this isn't in the first 100 days, but it is important. In my 4th year, I will work for donations and donate my salary to the community in the areas that need help. I personally would like to start community gardens throughout the entire county. One part of security is food security. And we are in a dangerous situation out here if there's any interruption in traffic. Any interruption. The average food product in your grocery stores comes from 1,500 miles. We need to get our food more local. And there's another benefit to this too. We'll all be eating healthier and it will be cheaper too. My campaign even comes with several guarantees. I guarantee I will be the most frugal sheriff in La Paz County history. There will be a war on waste and inefficient programs. There will be no sacred cows. Everything will be looked at. I guarantee I'll be the most transparent sheriff. I'm even going to give, as I said, weekly videotaped updates of what your sheriff's office did during the week. I will absolutely guarantee your gun rights. Red flag laws are coming. Our governor has already flip-flopped a couple times on these red flag gun laws. We don't know what he's going to do next. Your due process rights will be honored with me. And I guarantee, too, I will honor my oath and not abuse my office for political or monetary gain. I personally believe if you raise your right hand and swear to God and the people to honor an oath, and you don't, everything else you do doesn't mean anything. To learn more about me and my platform, go to rothforsheriff.com. I'll be adding more content soon. Also go to Roth for Sheriff on Facebook. If you want to talk to me out here, please do. And I just want to end this with a quote, and then I'll let you go. And the title of this quote is, "Here's to the crazy ones." Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes. They're not fond of rules and they have no respect for status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Thank you. I'm Mike Roth, and I want to be your next sheriff.
evening. My name is Frank Vidrine, and I'm a Republican candidate for the position of Sheriff of LaPointe County. I'm retired military after 22 years. I was an infantry sergeant, drill sergeant for 10 years, where I taught NCOs, that's sergeants, to be leaders, better leaders, basic leadership course, young soldiers coming up, how to be leaders, and then I retired after 22 years. I had 26 years in law enforcement right here in LaPointe County, and I was saying for a while, 17 of those years that I patrolled out here was here in Bouse. One of the things that I'm very, very, very prevalent to is communication. Communication. Now, what these two gentlemen have said earlier, some I go along with, some will come with communications. Communications brings respect, it brings trust, and it brings honesty. If you can trust me after a period of time that we have our conversations on the street, drinking coffee, I'm not going to ask for a raise of hands of those that know who I am, because I've patrolled out here, like I said, for over 17 years. If you appreciated what I did during my shift of 12 hours, 2 o'clock in the morning, what's that like? Oh, that's Frank driving by with his spotlight. A lot of the complaints that I hear from folks after the first 6 months of the current regime, we never see a cop. We never see a cop. They're out on the highway or out on the interstate giving citations. Did I do that? Yes. But from point A, from Bouse, to either Salome or Brenda or wherever I had to go next, if there was a traffic violation, that's what I did. I would make that stop. But I tried to make sure that I went through every residential business area at least twice on my shift. There was sometimes I never got out of Bouse. 12 hours I spent right here, depending on what the call was. Confidence. If you have confidence in the local officer that you see out there doing your job, you have no problem in coming up and talking to them. And just a little scenario. We meet for the first time. You're out there doing your lawn or watering or breaking up, and I stop by and I'll say, you missed that part. Use a little more water right here. Get it to talking. And after a while, you see me every day, at some point in time, hopefully during the day, you'll see me, and I'll stop. How you doing? This, that, and other. Pretty soon I know you by your first name. Pretty soon you've invited me in for coffee. And communication, you're going to tell me stuff that I want to know, and I'm not going to, you're not a snitch. We're talking. We're talking. And guess what? Eventually, you're not the only one, but in our little conversation, I'm not going to give your name out, but I will tell my supervisor at that time, hey, we have an issue over here. Now, a lot of people call me and say, Joe Blow's stealing gas. Joe Blow's doing this. But you know what? Call the sheriff's department. Well, the biggest problem is we never see a cop. Why? They're out on the interstate, or they're up and down the highway. So I'm going to cut this very short, because those of you that have known me, Barbara, how long have we known each other? Where are you at?
1990.
Been a day or two. Okay. Know that I do my job. One of the things that I've been saying all the time was, the officers, what I did when I first started, I walked into the first business area. How you doing, buddy? My name is Frank, and I'm your local deputy. Julian, I worked for him for 4 years, said if I'd known you was going to do that, I'd have given you a uniform.
Amen.
But I'm going to give the officers 4 months. 4 the day shift as we rotate. 4 months, you're gonna tell me every owner of every business in your district. Because I want the people to know who you are. The biggest thing that hurts communication is attitude. And we will have, if need be, for the officers that don't have the attitude, we will have classes on that. Once a month, I will be at Bouse, Solon-Winded, Bobo, Benton, Brenda, Ehrenberg, Upper River Parker. 1 day a month, for a couple of hours. You come in, if you have a complaint, I want to hear about it. If you have a gripe about an officer or what's not being done, I want to hear about it, because I would utilize the chain of command, lieutenant, why is sergeant, whatever, not having this done. Okay? So, I can stand up here and tell you how great I am all the time, but for those of you who know me, I am a people person. I want to talk with you. I like to joke with you. I like to tease you. And in turn, I get it back. I appreciate your support. In August, on the 4th, vote for Frank Vidrine, and we will change La Paz County back to making it great. Thank you very much.
Okay, in a few minutes we're going to break apart, but I need to apologize to William Ponce. At the very beginning, I thought I was taping, but I wasn't. So, but I did catch you on there, but would you like to say a few more words? I apologize.
Well, I'm sorry you guys got to hear this all again. But,
You only got one speech?
well, I didn't have a speech. You didn't see me writing anything. That was right from my heart, telling you the truth of how things are going to be if I get elected as sheriff. Okay. Like I said, my name is William Ponce, and I was born and raised in La Paz County. I'm a 2-decade veteran of law enforcement in this county, and I served in the military prior to my law enforcement service. 5 years in the Navy, 3 years in the United States Army Reserves. So my entire adult life has been about service. I'm sure you can tell that by what I just told you. And I'm about service. My staff, they know that they are required to conduct themselves in a manner which provides service to the people that we serve, because that's what we're about. Law enforcement is about serving the public, and sometimes that gets forgotten. Sometimes these youngsters don't understand that they're out here to serve the public, and we're going to reinstill that into these youngsters out there on the road, and let them know what they need to do for the people that they're serving. Because you guys pay our paychecks, we're public servants, exactly what it says, public servants. Okay, so the reason that I've decided to run for sheriff is because I believe there needs to be a change in law enforcement from the sheriff's department in this county. I don't think that the people are getting the service they deserve. So I plan to change that. Through my current position and my prior position as chief of police for the last 6 years, I've devoted and dedicated myself to serve the people that I work for, whether it's the Colorado Indian tribes, whether it's the Quartzsite Police Department, and hopefully it will be the Sheriff's Department of La Paz County. So I will ensure that the people receive the proper services that they deserve, because we're not getting that right now. And as a citizen and a candidate for sheriff, I'm going to change that. I don't want to see this anymore. It's our job to provide you guys with a service. I'm dedicated to leadership, professionalism, service, and dedication to duty. Those are the things that you're going to hear from me and you're going to see from my staff. Okay? I'm not here to just tell you that. I'm here to make it happen, and I will make it happen. If you talk to any of the people that live in the communities that I've served, they'll tell you the very same thing, because that's what I do. I'm about that. I was raised very strictly by my parents, and my dad would give you the shirt off his back to try to give you something to help somebody out. And I believe those same philosophies are part of me and who I am. They're in my bones and in my blood. So if you want to have some change in law enforcement in this county, I'm asking you to vote for me in 2020, because you will have change. Go back and talk to the people in the communities that I work, and you'll see what I've done and who I am. We have an Explorer program at Quartzsite to try to benefit the children, to develop our future, because we need help to get these kids on track. Some of them don't have anything at home, or anybody to inspire them or help them move forward. We got to develop those kids, you know? I see a lot of kids through my time in law enforcement that were struggling and lost. And if maybe they had somebody that cared about them and took a moment to take their time to talk to them and give them some advice or help them out, they'd be somewhere else today. Okay? It's our job to help children and the elderly. And that's one of the things that I do. You'll find that in courtside. I'm very devoted to my communities that I work for. I'm dedicated 100%, and I will be dedicated as your sheriff 100%. So I'm asking you to vote for me in 2020. Okay? I'm a Republican candidate, and I believe I'm the most qualified Republican candidate. As I said earlier, I'm a 2017 graduate of the FBI National Academy, and that's not something to be taken lightly. There is 12 candidates from the state of Arizona that are selected each year to go to the FBI National Academy. And I was lucky enough to be one that was selected. And I'm humbled by the fact that I was selected to attend that. But I'm grateful too, because I learned a lot of leadership skills. I learned how to develop myself and how to develop my troops, because it's important that we develop our troops. If I sit up there in that office and I don't do anything for my people, then I have no reason to be there. My job is to develop those people to be the future leaders of this county. And that's something that I've done in all my time in law enforcement. I've learned that early on from some leaders that I had in the military that were very great, that you have to develop the people below you, and you have to instill those morals, community service, dedication. We have to be friendly. It's not about out there going and writing tickets or being on the freeway, because that is something that was said earlier, and I definitely am frustrated with that, because we need to be out in the back streets and talking to our citizens and getting information, because if we build those relationships, then the information will flow right to us without difficulty. But we have to think about that, and again, as leaders from the top down, we have to instill that in our troops, because if we're not instilling that, then we've done nothing. They're coming out here and running traffic and doing whatever they want because they've not been guided or directed. So please think about those things, and I believe that a lot of you are saying those same things to me when I'm out here in the public asking questions and trying to obtain information on how things are going or how you feel about the current administration and the current deputies out there on the road. Those are the things that I hear. So for me, those are very important. And if you know anything about me in courtside, I'm in the public all the time, and I will continue that as the sheriff of LaPaz County. I'm not scared to go out and talk to people to get to know them, because I want you to know me, and I want you to know what I'm about, and I want you to know that I'm dedicated to you 100%. So I'm asking you to vote for me in 2020 as your next sheriff. And I'm not looking for just 4 years. I'm looking to create a dynasty to let you know that I'm here, because that will create stability. If we keep re-electing a new sheriff every 4 years, we're going nowhere, because it starts over again. Why would we do that to ourselves? You don't create any stability, and that's bad for us. We have to be creating something for longevity, something that's going to last for a long time. And I will give you that. I'm dedicated to the cause, and I'll give you 100%. Thank you. Vote for William Ponce 2020.
Thank you all for being here. For people at home, I want to reiterate that Bill Rison is not here. He's dealing with COVID-19 in the jail, and he was tested today, but he didn't want to come because the test is not back, so he didn't want to infect anybody in case he's infected too. And Mr. Rodriguez could not come. He's in quarantine also. So we only have 3 candidates tonight, and so we're going to break out now. Each candidate is going to go to a separate part of the room, and you can ask the candidate your questions. I've got people who are going to film the questions and answers so that the people at home and people in this room can go back and find out what the other candidates answered. So we'll break out now and go. Mr. Ponce has a table there, and Mr. Roth-Vidrine have a table in the back, and Zach is here, and he's not answering questions for Bill Rison, but he's taking questions for Bill Rison, and he will answer them.
We'll meet up here, I'll be separate.
Mike Roth is going to meet up here, so he can be separate from Mr. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it.
I want